the disturbance card, which is the 5 Ns. And we started discussing about energy transition because obviously that was a topic yesterday, but also because that is my background in the oil and gas industry, right? So with the energy transition, what we were discussing about is, the idea that having this commitment, and I think that translates to having a unified vision for the market or for the industry as a whole. And this unified vision has to be communicated in a very clear and effective manner. So each individual entity within that system or within that organization understand what that means. And similar to how the 5Ns are sort of interacting in a very self-organized manner to make sure that the whole colony survive, that is also how we can see resilience being created in the organization level, having that, allowing not having a very rigid hierarchical top-down structure to tell everyone what to do. If that vision is clear and everyone understood what that is, then you allow the system to self-organize itself and allowing the entities within that system to interact in such a way that everyone is doing its own thing, but in concert towards that vision to enrich the organization and the system as a whole, right? So that's what we gleaned out from the disturbance card. And then when we looked at the behavior, which is the limitless longevity, and the idea of, I guess that was about the recycling and reinventing ourselves. So we were looking at that from an education point of view, and being able to constantly readapt and renew ourselves in our world right now, which is changing in a very rapid pace, right? So it's the cyclical process of not only just information, but also in an innovation where we know that the chances are that we're going to fail quite often. We're not going to get success straight out of the box. So we need to build the idea that failure is not really the end of the road. Failure is just a part of the cycle that you can, and if you have that mindset to be able to understand that we can recycle the information, the ideas that we learned, and start over again in a circular fashion, then that would speak highly towards reinventing ourselves and making sure that we are constantly adaptable to our changing environment to ensure that our longevity within the organization is achieved. And that links quite nicely with the mutation card, which is the green sea slug. And we were discussing about, throughout our careers, we've developed several ideas in the past that we thought would be unrelated, but then it will come back and we understand, well, actually this is quite applicable to the challenges that we are looking at. So it's the idea that, at the end of the day, a lot of things are, even they're coming from a complete different domain, different discipline, we can find things that are applicable, and this is going from, cross-discipline integration and things like that. So, so borrowing ideas and innovation from different parts of our life or different part of the organization can also contribute to that. So if there's anything else, Jane and Jordan, if I missed anything out, feel free to fill up the gaps that I may have missed out.
You did great. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so I think that was it from our group. I didn't want to take too much more time.
Excellent. Nan, you want to add a word?
Oh, nice job. I love everything you came up with. That was fantastic. And I especially love the way that you brought the last one in and that you brought up failure, because there's really no failure, right? It's sort of like more R&D.
Yeah, it's part of the process, and it's not the end of the line.
Yeah, it's part of the process. And I also, I mean, this came up in the group that I was sitting in on too, the cross-disciplinary aspect of it. You know, bring different people in, switch things around. Yeah, I loved everything you said. The fire ants, as eusocial organisms, they're very prone to cooperate with each other because they all have the same DNA. And so to get your organization to all have the same quote DNA, you know, that you're all sharing the goal is another way to look at it, is a way to be unthinkable in finding solutions.
Excellent. So maybe we can switch to the other group, the number 2, jellyfish.